Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. Well, the Giants have been swept by the Dodgers again. They just cannot play the Dodgers right now. Also, it's evident again after today that they cannot play baseball in the extra innings. That is just not something they've done this year. And it didn't seem to matter that they were the home team this time. It's been countless losses, by being walked off this year when they've been the visiting team, which I think that's been the case most of the time in extra innings. This time, they were the home team. That didn't help things any. But before I go over the game, I did get a question in the comments, so I want to get to that first. The question reads, I'm a new fan. Have the Giants ever had such a rotten season before? And yeah, I want to break all of the new fans into this, get them well versed in how the Giants are doing. Have they ever had a rotten season before, such as this one? Well, the Giants have existed since the 1880s, so the answer is yes. But I think I know what you're saying. Have they had a rotten season like this one in recent times? 2017 was like one of the worst seasons in franchise history. So many losses. It was not a fun season at all, 2017. However, I don't think that a picture like 17 really gives us the whole deal here, because what was particularly despicable about this year was the fact that the Giants should have made the playoffs. Hey, in 2017, it was like they were gone from beginning to end. There was no real playoff shot for them. But in 2022, this is unique. It's a better year for the Giants, certainly, than 2017. But what's different about 2022 is that they blew it when they should have gotten to the playoffs. They had a winning record, and they kept a winning record through a large part of the season. But some bad losing streaks just got in their way. Then they completely fell off in the second 2 months. And that's how they lost this. So that's what's so despicable about 2022. The fact that they were doing well, and then they just fell out of a wild card spot. I think that some good comparisons to this year are 2019 and 2020. Now, 2019, let me just say, not even that is a perfect comparison. 2019 is not a perfect comparison because the Giants started out terrible in 2019, but they got back into it with a really hot month of July, then a really hot month of August most of the way through until they got swept by the Cubs in a really crucial series. The Giants didn't add what they needed to at the trade deadline, certainly in 2019. So their performance fell off. It's not cool. Same thing in 2020. They started out 8 wins, 16 losses. Then they came back and came within a game of making the postseason in 2020, and they lost it. And they lost the last series there against the Padres 3-1. It was clear. 2020, they made their playoff run count until the end. They were in it throughout the last week, and yet they showed they could not win games when it mattered. Lost a close one to the Rockies and then got swept by the Padres in that series, including a blown save. So they couldn't win when it mattered to lock down a playoff spot that, from our perspective, they should have had in 2020. So 2019 and 2020 were frustrating seasons when we just feel like the Giants should have had a better chance of doing something, and they really messed up. But neither of those is a perfect comparison to this year, because this year the Giants had a good record like a lot of the way through the first half, and if it weren't for the losing streak after the trade deadline, could be they would have traded for more. And it's just, if it weren't for some really bad things that they did just at the wrong times, this should have been a better competitive year for the wild card spot. So it is hard for me to think of a perfect comparison, but if you go back far enough, we'd find things that would be pretty despicable, But this year, it needed to be a wild card spot at least, because the Giants started out hot, and finishing poorly like this, that's just not an acceptable level of performance for them. Anyway, let me get to the game. Thank you, that was a good question. So, Alex Cobb started. He had to work through a rain delay. Gave up 2 runs, 5 1/3 innings. Scott Alexander pitched a scoreless inning after that, and Tyler Rogers went 1 2/3. Camilo Doval, he went the 9th. And when behind 2-1 in the late innings, I think it was the 7th or the 8th. Yeah, it was the 8th. J.D. Davis hit a game-time ground rule double to tie the game at 2-2, but they couldn't capitalize on that opportunity with runners in scoring position to add on to it. So they went into extra innings, and John Brebbia pitched the top of the 10th. And yeah, he had the automatic runner and everything, but we're trying to be fair on him, but he pitched poorly because he gave up a double to Mookie Betts. And the idea is that basically that was a double given up at the very wrong time. So a big hit, as far as I can tell. I didn't see it live. If it's just a slow roll or everybody misplayed, but the vast majority of doubles are big hits, so we'll assume that's what Brebbia gave up here. In the bottom of the 10th, the Giants had a rally going. Wilmer Flores singled in a run to make it 4-3. Giants had bases loaded, 2 outs, and Lamont Wade Jr. grounded out. So this team doesn't do it in the extra innings. That's just a fact. And interestingly, it was last year, the Dodgers were really good, but they didn't do it too much in the extra innings. It was a bad time for them, but it's more devastating for a bad team like the Giants. It means you're never winning games, so they get swept by the Dodgers again. It's hard to believe that they can't figure out how to maintain just some level of respectability when playing the Dodgers. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you have not. And if you have questions or comments, you know where to post them in the comments section. And I'll also take an email if you think it's, too long. The address is posted in the description box. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.